Gwyneth Kate Paltrow is a tall, wafer-thin and delicate beauty. She was born in Los Angeles, the daughter of noted producer and director Bruce Paltrow and Tony Award-winning actress Blythe Danner. Her father was from a Jewish family, while her mother is of mostly German descent. When Gwyneth was 11, the family moved to Massachusetts, where her father began working in summer stock productions in the Berkshires. It was here that she received her early acting training under the tutelage of her parents. She graduated from the all-girls Spence School in New York City and moved to California, where she attended the UC Santa Barbara, majoring in art history. She soon quit, realizing it was not her passion. She made her film debut with a small part in Shout, 1991, and for the next 5 years had featured roles in a mixed bag of filmfare that included Flesh and Bone, 1993, Mrs. Parker and the Vicious Circle, 1994, Seven, 1995, Jefferson in Paris, 1995, Moonlight and Valentino, 1995, and The Pallbearer, 1996. It was her performance in the title role of Emma Woodhouse in Emma, 1996, that led to her being offered the role of Viola in Shakespeare in Love, 1998, for which she was awarded the Golden Globe, Screen Actors Guild and Academy Awards for Best Actress in a Leading Role. Her roles have also included The Royal Tenenbaums, 2001, Shallow Hal, 2001, Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow, 2004, Iron Man, 2008, Two Lovers, 2008, and Country Strong, 2010. She has 2 children with her former husband, English musician Chris Martin. She often plays British characters. She has blonde hair and blue eyes. She has a statuesque and model-like figure. Attended and graduated from the Spence School in New York City, 1990. Voted Most Stuck Up in Movieline magazine's 100 Most. October 1998, August 15, 1998, gave 21,000 watch to boyfriend Ben Affleck as a birthday present. Named one of People magazine's 50 Most Beautiful People in the World, 1998. Engaged to actor Brad Pitt on December 20, 1996. She broke her much-publicized engagement in 1997, citing the fact that neither she nor Pitt felt that they could pursue their respective careers and at the same time maintain a happy marriage. They remain good friends. Confirmed as the next Calvin Klein model, 1996. Attended the University of California at Santa Barbara, UCSB, for 1 year as an art history major. After spending a time in her early teens in Talavera de la Reina, Toledo, Spain, she can speak fairly good Spanish. Turned down the role of Emma Peel in the movie The Avengers, 1998, which went to Uma Thurman. Met with James Cameron for the role of Rose DeWitt Bakata in Titanic, 1997, which went to Kate Winslet. Spends Thanksgiving every year with Steven Spielberg and Kate Capshaw at their home in the Hamptons. As part of research for her role as an obese woman in Shallow Hal, 2001, wore the 200-pound latex fat suit she used for the film to a bar where people refused to make eye contact with her and treated her rudely. She said that this experience made her saddened by the injustice faced by overweight people in society. Has been friends with Maya Rudolph, of Saturday Night Live, 1975, fame, since she was 7. Practices yoga and sticks to a macrobiotic diet. Older sister of Jake Paltrow. First cousin of actress Catherine Moennig, whose roles include Jacqueline, Jake Pratt on Young Americans, 2000, and Shane McCutcheon on The L Word, 2004, and Hilary Danner, niece of Harry Danner. Did her own singing in the comedy-drama movie Duets, 2000. Attended Crossroads High School in Santa Monica, California for 1 year. April 13, 2003, attended the ceremony in Talavera de la Reina, Toledo, Spain, in which she was named adopted daughter. She first visited the town as a young schoolgirl and has since frequently returned there, enamored, she says, of the people, the food and the countryside. Has played Thomas Jefferson's daughter in Jefferson in Paris, 1995. Her mother, Blythe Danner, played Jefferson's wife, Martha, in 1776, 1972, just before Gwyneth was conceived. In the Ken Burns miniseries, Thomas Jefferson, 1997, she played his granddaughter. Nominated for a London Evening Standard Theatre Award for Best Actress for her performance in Proof, performed at the Donmar Warehouse in London, England, 2002.
She and her husband Chris Martin purchased Kate Winslet's North London home in Belsize Park. Is the daughter of Bruce Paltrow and Blythe Danner. Gwyneth's paternal grandparents, Arnold P. Paltrow and Dorothy Weigert, were both from Jewish families from Eastern and Central Europe, Poland, Russia, Belarus and Lithuania, and Gwyneth's father had many generations of rabbis in the family tree. Gwyneth's maternal grandparents were Harry Earl Danner and Catherine M. Kyle, and Gwyneth's mother is of German, with smaller amounts of English and Irish, descent. Some of her mother's ancestors lived in Barbados. Her mother, Blythe Danner, was about 5 months pregnant with the future actress when she appeared in Columbo, Etude in Black, 1972. The episode also starred John Cassavetes, and aired during the series' first season. Her name can be heard over the PA system in many episodes of the medical drama St. Elsewhere, 1982. Gwyneth's father, Bruce Paltrow, was the producer of the series. Turned down the role of Rachel Keller in The Ring, 2002, which went to Naomi Watts. Is best friends with Madonna. Attended St. Augustine by the Sea, where she met Maya Rudolph, in Los Angeles and the Spence School in New York City. Met husband Chris Martin when she attended his band's Coldplay's concert. October 2002, she does not employ a nanny to take care of her daughter, a rarity among actors in the film business. Signed a contract with Estée Lauder for $10 million to promote its new line of fragrance, Pleasures. Her son, Moses Martin, is named after a song Chris Martin wrote for her and appears on Coldplay's album, Live 2003. Moses is also her father's Hebrew name. She speaks French quite well, having spent a summer in Paris when in her early 20s. Good friends with Helena Christensen, who was one of the first people to visit Gwyneth in the hospital, after she gave birth to her son, Moses Martin, Moses Bruce Anthony Martin. Longtime close friends with actress Mary Wigmore, who also appeared, albeit briefly, in Paltrow's films The Royal Tenenbaums, 2001, and Shallow Hal, 2001. Was the maid of honor at Madonna's wedding to Guy Ritchie. Her godfather Steven Spielberg is also the godfather of Drew Barrymore. Godparents of her daughter, Apple Martin, are Simon Pegg, Mary Wigmore, and Chris Martin's Coldplay bandmate, John Buckland. Was originally signed on for the role of Ava Gardner in The Aviator, 2004, but dropped out. The role went to Kate Beckinsale. Auditioned for the role of Vicky Minor in Reality Bites, 1994, which went to Janine Garofalo. She earns $3 million per year endorsing Estée Lauder on television and in print advertisements. Attended Brown Ledge Summer Camp in Vermont. When she played Sharon Stone on Saturday Night Live, 1975, Stone felt offended and criticized her performance, 1999. Had suffered postpartum depression following the birth of her son, Moses Martin on April 15, 2008. Attended the Spence School in Manhattan, an elite private girls' school that was also attended by Emmy Rossum and Kerry Washington. Attended the 55th Tony Awards. She can be seen dancing with the revival cast of The Rocky Horror Show, during The Time Warp. Ambassador for the Entertainment Industry Foundation, EIF's Women's Cancer Research Fund, 2008. Gwyneth's brother, Jake Paltrow's birthday is a day before hers, 9/26 and 9/27, respectively. Friends with Cameron Diaz, Stella McCartney, Liv Tyler, Reese Witherspoon and Tracy Anderson, and Kate Hudson. Returned to work 10 months after giving birth to her daughter, Apple Martin, in order to begin filming Running with Scissors, 2006. Was 6 months pregnant with her son Moses Martin when she completed filming The Good Night, 2007, and returned to work 11 months after giving birth, in order to begin filming Iron Man, 2008. 2 of her ex-boyfriends have been named Sexiest Man Alive by People magazine, Brad Pitt and Ben Affleck. Replaced Charlize Theron in the role of Gerda Wegener in The Danish Girl, 2015, but after dropping out of the project herself she was replaced by Alicia Vikander. She was awarded a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame at 6931 Hollywood Boulevard in Hollywood, California on December 13, 2010. She was accompanied by Tim McGraw, Her Country Strong, 2010, co-star Faith Hill, and Glee, 2009, co-star Matthew Morrison.
Second cousin of Arizona Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords, who was injured in the 2011 Tucson, Arizona shooting. Their fathers are first cousins. March 26, 2011, was in attendance at the wedding of Reese Witherspoon to Jim Toth. Auditioned for the role of Kelly Taylor on Beverly Hills 90210, 1990, which went to Jenny Garth. Auditioned for the role of Susanna Fincannon in Legends of the Fall, 1994. She lost the role to Julia Ormond, but Brad Pitt was so impressed with Gwyneth that he later handpicked her to play his wife in Seven, 1995. Is lifelong friends with Norman Lloyd, who knew her mother, Blythe Danner, for exactly 40 years, right around the same time she was born. Has 2 children with her ex-husband Chris Martin, a daughter Apple Martin, Apple Blythe Allison Martin, b. May 14, 2004, and a son Moses Martin, Moses Bruce Anthony Martin, b. April 8, 2006. Revealed that she named her daughter Apple, because apples are whole, sweet and crisp. The baby's middle name honors her grandmothers, Blythe Danner and Allison Martin. March 17, 2013, admitted that she had miscarried her future third child with her now estranged husband Chris Martin and almost died. March 25, 2014, separated from her husband of 10 years Chris Martin. Was the 115th actress to receive an Academy Award. She won the Best Actress Oscar for Shakespeare in Love, 1998, at the 71st Annual Academy Awards, 1999, on March 21, 1999. Delivered her daughter Apple naturally after a 70-hour-long labor but delivered her son Moses via cesarean section out of fear of having another long labor. Is one of 15 Oscar-winning actresses to have been born in the state of California. The others are Faye Bainter, Gloria Graham, Jo Van Fleet, Liza Minnelli, Tatum O'Neal, Diane Keaton, Sally Field, Angelica Houston, Cher, Jodie Foster, Helen Hunt, Angelina Jolie, Marcia Gay Harden and Brie Larson. Was offered a chance to be a roaster for the Comedy Central roast of Rob Lowe, but declined. Is one of 11 actresses who won the Best Actress Oscar for a move that also won the Best Picture Oscar. She won for Shakespeare in Love, 1998. The others are Claudette Colbert for It Happened One Night, 1934, Louise Rayner for The Great Ziegfeld, 1936, Vivian Leigh for Gone with the Wind, 1939, Greer Garson for Mrs. Miniver, 1942, Louise Fletcher for One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, 1975, Diane Keaton for Annie Hall, 1977, Shirley MacLaine for Terms of Endearment, 1983, Jessica Tandy for Driving Miss Daisy, 1989, Jodie Foster for The Silence of the Lambs, 1991, and Hilary Swank for $1 Million Baby, 2004. Was supposed to star in She's Out of My League, 2010, but backed out due to production delays. Alice Eve replaced her. Greatly admires Johnny Depp. She worked with him on Mordecai, 2015. As a teenage model, she appeared in a 1991 ad urging high school kids to use condoms. Is one of 25 actresses who have received an Academy Award for their performance in a comedy. Hers being for Shakespeare in Love, 1998. The others in chronological order are Claudette Colbert, It Happened One Night, 1934, Loretta Young, The Farmer's Daughter, 1947, Josephine Hull, Harvey, 1950, Judy Holliday, Born Yesterday, 1950, Audrey Hepburn, Roman Holiday, 1953, Goldie Hawn, Cactus Flower, 1969, Glenda Jackson, A Touch of Class, 1973, Lee Grant, Shampoo, 1975, Diane Keaton, Annie Hall, 1977, Maggie Smith, California Suite, 1978, Mary Steenburgen, Melvin and Howard, 1980, Jessica Lange, Tootsie, 1982, Olympia Dukakis, Moonstruck, 1987, Cher, Moonstruck, 1987, Jessica Tandy, Driving Miss Daisy, 1989, Mercedes Ruehl, The Fisher King, 1991, Marisa Tomei, My Cousin Vinny, 1992, Diane Weist, Bullets Over Broadway, 1994, Mira Sorvino, Mighty Aphrodite, 1995, Frances McDormand, Fargo, 1996, Helen Hunt, As Good as It Gets, 1997, Judi Dench, Shakespeare in Love, 1998, Penelope Cruz, Vicky Cristina Barcelona, 2008, and Jennifer Lawrence, Silver Linings Playbook, 2012.
Is one of 14 actresses to have won both the Best Actress Academy Award and the Best Actress in a Comedy, Musical Golden Globe for the same performance. Hers being for Shakespeare in Love, 1998. The others, in chronological order, are Judy Holliday for Born Yesterday, 1950, Julie Andrews for Mary Poppins, 1964, Barbra Streisand for Funny Girl, 1968, Liza Minnelli for Cabaret, 1972, Glenda Jackson for A Touch of Class, 1973, Diane Keaton for Annie Hall, 1977, Sissy Spacek for Coal Miner's Daughter, 1980, Cher for Moonstruck, 1987, Jessica Tandy for Driving Miss Daisy, 1989, Helen Hunt for As Good as It Gets, 1997, Reese Witherspoon for Walk the Line, 2005, Marion Cotillard for La Vie en Rose, 2007, and Jennifer Lawrence for Silver Linings Playbook, 2012. She was offered the role of Emma Peel in The Avengers, 1998, which she turned down. Coincidentally, she later played Pepper Potts in an unrelated film of the same Avengers Assemble, 2012. Mother Blythe Danner mentioned in her Emmy Award acceptance speech in 2015 that Kiefer Sutherland babysat her daughter as a child. Is one of 3 actresses who have won both the Best Actress Oscar, hers being for Shakespeare in Love, 1998, and the Outstanding Guest Actress in a Comedy Series Emmy, hers being for Glee, 2009. The other actresses are Emma Thompson and Kathy Bates. Practices transcendental meditation. Involved in a sliding doors moment for a woman who missed a train and arrived late for work at the World Trade Center on 9/11. On her way to the train, Lara Lundstrom Clark jaywalked in front of Paltrow's car, then stopped in the street when she recognized the star. The two stared each other down long enough for Clark to arrive at the station just in time to see the train pulling out, her life changed by a chance delay and a narrowly missed train, like Paltrow's character in Sliding Doors. By the time Clark reached the World Trade Center, the first tower had already fallen. September 29, 2018, married her boyfriend of 4 years Brad Falchuk in a private wedding ceremony in the Hamptons following a 10-month-long engagement. The guests included Jerry Seinfeld, Steven Spielberg, Cameron Diaz, Benji Madden and Robert Downey Jr. Turned down the role of Kathy in Cool as Ice, 1991, as did Lisa Marie Presley, because her parents thought the script was garbage. Has 2 stepchildren, Brody and Isabella. She was to be the original narrator for Thomas Friends, The Great Discovery, the movie, 2008, but instead the role went to Pierce Brosnan. Auditioned for the role of Dr. Ellie Sattler in Jurassic Park, 1993. Having been 20 years old at the time of casting, she was deemed too young for the part and ultimately Laura Dern was cast instead. News taken from imdb.com. Please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.